Look at that, mate. I'm a technical absolute genius. Unbelievable.
With a bit of assistance.
With a huge amount of assistance. Nice to see you, Ingborg. Don't say a word. I know you can't talk. It's just nice to see your beautiful face. So thank you. Hello, Tina. Nice to see you as well.
Same here.
I thought I saw Mary here. Is Mary here?
She was, and then she's coming back.
Here she is.
My voice
You're
is
looking
even
alive
back
and
today.
well this morning, Mary.
Hey, Mary. Good to see you. Okay. In the interest of time, we're going to get started, okay? Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 206. Okay, 206. Got that right, John? Yeah? 206.
Yes, sir.
Of our Your Mastermind. And our topic for today is your toughest business challenge and how did you overcome it? Your toughest business challenge and how you overcame it. Before we get on to that particular topic, I'd like to let them to introduce themselves. But before we even do that, I want to give a very special shout out to one lady, and I don't want to embarrass her because she can't talk, because she just come from the dentist. But Ingborg, I just want to say thank you to you. Thank you very much for your private and personal conversation just recently. It meant the world to me, and I truly appreciate you very much indeed for the woman that you are. Mm-hmm. And I would highly recommend everybody reaching out and talking with Ingborg because she is one heck of a lady. So thank you, Ingborg. Thank you very much. Okay. All righty. So for those who are watching the replay, I'd like you to make sure you do two things for me. The first thing is this. Underneath this video on YouTube, you will find their contact details. I don't want you just to click the link and think about it. I want you to book a time, go and talk to Jeff Veal, talk to Tina, talk to Mary Stanley, Ingborg, Kristine, John, whoever they talk to them. It doesn't matter what they do. They come from different parts of the world, right? And they come from different levels of experience and expertise. But the most important thing is they have contacts, they have opportunities, they have doors that they can open that you haven't even thought about yet. So, I mean, we should charge you for this. I've said this before, but it's a free access we're giving to you. So please, I cannot stress this enough. These people give up their time, their expertise, and more importantly else, their experience to share with you their thoughts about various things that will help people just like you who are trying to run and build a business. So without any further ado, let me start to introduce them. And I'm going to start with you, Kristine, because you were the very first one here today. And you beat John Allen, which takes some doing. So, Kristine, over to you first, followed by John Allen.
Okay. Thanks, Peter, for hosting these masterminds. I love being here because it's very inspirational. And I'm Kristine Best. I'm a wellness strategist. And I'm here to debunk the myths around aging. I'm here to expose the misconceptions about why people develop chronic diseases. And I'm not here to say what people want to hear. I'm here to challenge what people believe about wellness. Because I want to break the cycle. At the moment, 70% of all deaths worldwide are caused by chronic diseases. They're preventable. So let's make that statistic a little more meaningful. Let's say you know 50 people. Of those 50 people, 35 of them are likely to die from a chronic disease. Maybe you only know 25 people. 17 or 18 of those people are likely to die from a chronic disease. That's why I want to break the cycle, because something's not right. I would like to share my lifetime of knowledge, my strategies, my tools, hacks and knowledge that I've gained over my lifetime that have served me well for the last 70 years and into the future. So if you would like to learn some of what I know, you can contact me here. Sign up for my latest program, To Wellness and Beyond. May just save you from developing a chronic disease. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Kristine, very much indeed. John D. Allen, followed by you, Jeff, because I know you got time against you. So John first, followed by John, followed by Jeff.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, no matter where in this big wide world you are. I'm John D. Allen, Allen Small Business Coaching. I specialize in helping people fall in love with your prospect's problem, not your solution or program. Trust is the new currency. If they don't trust you, they're not going to do business with you. So if you want to learn how to build trust, give me a call. My contact information is in the chat. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you very much, John. Well done. Jeff Veal, followed by Tina.
Hi everybody, my name's Jeff Veal, known as the Business Guru, based in the Philippines. Got a large team here, and we do everything social media, from building websites to helping reach out on LinkedIn, Facebook, email marketing, graphic arts, you name it, guys. If you need it in business, we've got access to it. So please feel free to reach out. Costs you absolutely nothing. And my offer to you guys today will give you a free marketing report, totally free, of how to grow and run your business. So it's an awesome report. Reach out if you'd like to have it. Thanks very much.
Jeff, what's the value of that report?
$195 normally.
Thank you.
That's good stuff. Tina, nice to see you, followed by Daniel.
Thank you for having me. So I take that overwhelm and the extreme stress out of divorce and help you from expending so much money on your legal services. I'm Tina Huggins. I'm your divorce coach specialist, restorative family mediator, and conflictual co-parenting coach. My information is in the chat. Thank you.
That was quick. Well done, Tina. Well done. Daniel, followed by Mary.
Hello, everybody. I'm Daniel Kobryner. I live in London. I'm a life and business coach and a motivational speaker. I help small business entrepreneurs who feel stuck, lost, and who without a sense of direction, to gain back clarity, motivation, confidence, get their power back, and live the most purposeful life they can. And it's really about getting people, the opportunity to express themselves and to become back their really authentic selves. And I'm running workshops around procrastination, how to overcome procrastination and to turn it into a purposeful action. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. Well done, my man. Mary Stanley, followed by Anita.
I am Mary Stanley. I am the owner and operator of Supportive Minds. And imagine a world where your child who is just diagnosed with autism doesn't have to focus on what is normal, how to be normal. That is what I do. So you look at people like Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, Beethoven, and Bach. They were all given the chance to be them, to grow, and look at the great inventions they have created in the world. 75% of a brain of an autistic individual is used, as opposed to an ordinary human that only uses at most 45% of their brain on a good day. What you do is you look at what their issues are, their struggles are. You target those particular parts of the brain through particular games or activities to strengthen with neuroplasticity, to change the way that the communication is, to overcome those areas, to allow them to be children, to have fun, and to grow at their level, and not have to focus on what they do and what they don't do, and just allowed to be them. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Did you say 45% of the brain?
Humans use at most normal people use at most 45% of the brain. Autistic individuals use up to 75% of their brain.
How much would I use? No, don't answer. Don't answer.
On a good day or a normal day?
Yeah. Anita, followed by Glenda.
Higgins, and I'm a social media manager, and I'm most gifted at doing Facebook ads at lead generation, low cost.
Well, that's short and sweet and to the point. I love that. Thank you very much, Anita. Well done. Glenda, nice to see you.
Good morning. So are you feeling stuck, lost of confidence, or ready to start fresh? Maybe your career, your marriage, your life path just didn't turn out as you planned. Now with the kids grown and they're all gone, you're left wondering what's next. Reinvention, confidence, wealth, freedom. There aren't just words, they're the key to your transformation. But success doesn't come by wishing, it comes from action. Hi, I'm Glenda Kroll. I'm an empowerment life strategist and real estate investor, and I help people like you to rebuild your confidence, make intentions into your life, and create a lasting wealth through real estate investing. If you're ready to take control and design a life of financial freedom and purpose, let's talk. Book a call with me and let's start your next chapter now. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenda. Well done. Well done. Before we get to the topic very quickly, here are the apologies. One from Yvonne Jones. She's off to the doctors. Chris Wellham. He's one of the guys in Australia who's waiting for this huge cyclone to hit. I know, but those who are in the United States might not have even heard about it yet. But there's a huge storm about to hit the eastern side of Australia, and so they're all battening down to try and protect themselves. Fred Gillen, Pat Dry can't make it today either for that reason. Oh, not for that reason, for a different reason, sorry. Alan Edwards, he's at an event that he was going to try and get in here a little later on if he possibly could. I said, don't worry about it, mate. You can't do two things at once. Annika, she wants to be here. She said, could she please pass on her apologies and love to you all? But she's been a grandma for the 2-year-old, and I said, stay with that. Look after it, be a good grandma. And Vangelis can't make it today either because he's at a special event. So here we are. The title for our discussion today, Your Toughest Business Challenge. Okay, and how did you overcome it? So there's a little thing at the bottom here which is called raise your hand. If you want to raise your hand, I'll take you in the order that you raise your hand. And in the meantime, I'd just like to extend one small thing to each and every one of you. Please make sure you connect with each other here as well. We've asked the people who are watching this recording to connect with you. Please make sure you connect with each other as well. It's very important that you do that, okay? And because there's a whole range of opportunities there that we need to maximize the opportunity for. So Jeffrey, you've got your hand up first. Over to you, mate.
I have. I thought I'd beat John for a change.
Can't find the damn raise your hand button.
I can either.
Daniel, I joined a procrastination group last November. I'm still waiting for the first meeting. That's another story. Guys, the topic is about, your biggest challenge. We get challenges every day of some kind. They can be big or small, depending how you react to them, I guess. But my biggest challenge in my lifetime was when I lost about $20 million when a thing called COVID came along, or spandemic, as I like to call it. I lost houses all over Asia. I lost offices all over Asia. And I had to sell $3 million houses back in Australia to get the salaries and long service leave and all the nonsense and government entitlements for over 200 staff. And then the interesting thing was I went to my local supermarket and I had a wallet full of cards. I handed over my black Amex and they said, it's not working. And I said, no, you're kidding, give it back to me. So I just cleaned it on my shirt. Sometimes they get stuck like that. And I handed it back and that didn't work. I said, I'm not the least bit worried. I got 5 other cards. Anyway, long story short, I handed over the cards one by one by one. And what I didn't realize, Amex, because I closed my business, Amex, even though I gave them something like $30,000 a month for the last 10 years, because I closed my business, I was no longer a nice guy. Unbeknown to me, they closed my account. I also didn't know that the banks watch what Amex do, and they figure if Amex doesn't trust you, we don't trust you either. So there I was with all my groceries and I couldn't pay for them. And I come home and all I had in my hand was a pen, you know, but that was just a challenge. We fight back from these things, guys, and we just move on. We got challenges every day. You know, what's the one about if it doesn't kill you, it's nothing to worry about, something like that. So I just roll with the punches, guys. To me, every day is a challenge. And one of the things I try to personally do, I try and learn, at least, I probably learn 4 or 5. I try to learn at least one thing every day. And last night on my podcast, I met a young man, 26 years of age, the most brilliant guy I've ever met in my life. He could leave me in the shade. I've done this stuff for 50 years. And he had this enormous presence on LinkedIn, and he makes close to $1 million a year. He's an awesome young man. And if anyone wants to know more about him, I'm not going to tell you here. Reach out to me and I'll give you his details. Thanks very much, guys.
Good. Thank you very much, Jeff. Mary, your toughest business challenge and how did you overcome it?
So my biggest business challenge, and Peter, you know this one well because you helped me through it, was when I created my business to work with autistic individuals and change the way that we see them. I couldn't get a job in the US. Everybody here looked at me like I got 2 heads or something because I was so against the status norm. So I started working overseas with people like Peter and different social service departments, networking, and I changed my messaging. I went from listening to marketers tell me how I have to sit right, look right, say the right thing, do the right thing, to just telling my story of why I created my business based off my own kids. And as a parent and a veteran, not knowing how to overcome my own struggles at the time and how to deal with my own kids and understand what this problem was that we were trying to solve. And just being open and honest was the best way for me to break into the US market. And now I'm everywhere.
You are everywhere, Mary. Well done. Thank you.
Hey, it's all because of you guys. You guys helped me a lot.
Well, we love you to death. Okay, who's next?
Glenda
Toughest
had her
business-
hand up.
Glenda, yes. Thank you, John. Glenda.
Just like Jeff had said, life is full of struggles and challenges, and it's keeping yourself positive and going. And we all know that because we've heard that time and time again. But sometimes it's easier said than done. So in one of my businesses, when I was actively buying single-family dwellings, I came across a property that I involved myself in a new contractor, and I was finishing up another house at the same time. And so I had to sort of take my finger or my eye off the trigger for a little while I was finishing one house and I had a new contractor working on the other. And when I had gone back to the second house that I had just started, I noticed that things had gone through too fast. And knowing that what I had known of what it takes to do certain things, everything inside of me just said something's wrong. And first of all, so number one thing is listen to that voice inside of you. You know, when something is wrong, there's something telling you to go looking further. And I have had that throughout my entire life. So what I had done at that point, then I went searching for a separate contractor, somebody who was involved. And what I did is I opened up a wall, and which had already been closed off. And I opened up this wall, and I found out through that one of the main supporting beams was taken out, and nothing was put back in. So there was nothing holding one of the main areas. And so, here I had already spent a fortune, and I decided at that point, when I hit something major in my life, I always sleep on it. So I don't make decisions rashly because I knew this decision was going to cost me a lot of money. So I slept on it. And then the next day, what I decided once I got up, I could see things more realistically. And I decided at that point that I was going to open up everything and redo everything he had done. And, you know, finding the money, that all came to me because I had an extra line of credit that I hadn't tapped into. So instead I had taken my losses, knocked them over because it is what it is, and then redid everything. And, you know, down the line, I ended up still making money. But the whole thing is I always believe when I do anything that it's got to be safe, and it's got to be so that, you know, my name means everything. So I have to come in being, you know, as reputable as possible. And what I was doing is creating safe homes for families. And until I fixed everything up, it wouldn't have been safe, and I wouldn't be having peace of mind to continue doing that. So I always sleep on major decisions. I always think and listen to what my heart is telling me. And I move forward with knowing that who I am and what I am is the most important thing at all. Thank you.
Who I am and what I am. Great advice. Thank you, Glenda. Well done. Well done. Who else would like to contribute? Daniel.
Hello.
Your arms up.
Yeah, I would like to tell you the following story. At a given time, I was running the European subsidiary of a big American paper company, and this was in Brussels. And, you know, I was selling, I don't know, 30,000 tons of paper, you know, which is, it's a lot. And this paper was coming from Brazil. So basically we had different distributors and each had a certain kind of allocation of paper, right? And at a given time, what happens is prices starting to go up and up and up because there was more demand and there was less supply. And everybody was desperate for paper. And I had people calling me from all over with sirens, even wanting to pay more. And I said, no. Basically, I stuck to my customers, obviously with the current prices going on, but making sure that I satisfy them first. And this lasted for 1 or 2 years. And afterwards, what happened? Market went down because paper companies were very rich, bought all these machines, and all of a sudden, it was completely the other side of the cycle. Prices going down and people having great opportunities. Then I came back to my customers and said, remember, when you needed paper, I was there for you. So just remember that. And they did. So what was the idea of that is, you know what, when you think long-term in a real win-win and you don't, as you say, go to the sirens, I don't know how you say in English, you know, that this is really where, you know, trust is built. And then where you can get a really sustainable business.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much indeed. If we had to sum up what you just said, what would be the advice you'd give somebody in one sentence?
In really treat people with respect and be loyal to them. Serve them the best you can, and you will see that, you know, there will be bad times, there will be good times, but if you are consistent, this is how you will always be successful in business.
Well said, Daniel. For those who are watching, listen to what he just said. Great advice. Tina, your hand has been raised.
I figured out. So, John, if you go down to the heart and you click on the heart, not the side part, just the heart, it shows you all of the things that you can do. I'm like, I know I've seen it before. So I've had 2 really major events happen to me that were very difficult. The first one was my divorce from my ex-husband. And that situation was very difficult for me to get through because I didn't have the mental skills that I needed to go through that. So working on ourselves, doing our personal growth, being parts of masterminds, listening to what other people, and to me, this is, I'm kind of picky about this. I want to listen to what older people have to say, not what the kids have to say, because they haven't been through what we've been through. So to me, that's super important. So masterminds where people that are like-minded like us are here and have the knowledge and the skills to move forward. And then the last one, which has been the most difficult, but I've handled it way better because of my personal growth, was the loss of my husband just 8 months ago. The thing that I would tell people is that our personal growth and taking care, our self-care is super, super important. And for me, being in the masterminds, doing the virtual stuff has been great because there was several months where this is all I had. I had no human connection other than going to Walmart and picking up dog food and stuff for my dog, right? So the Zooms were super, super important to me way back then. John has been super, super important to me. And we need to pay attention to what our bodies and minds are kind of telling us, because when we don't feel right, something's not right. And we need to come inside and we need to feel what that's about, because if we don't take care of this, we can't take care of our business. So that would be my advice to anybody.
Wow, that is good, Tina. That is good. And it's been a pleasure to talk to you for the last 2 days at 7 o'clock in the morning, your time. Well done. Kristine.
Yeah, there are two places in the last 7.5 years or so that were extremely difficult for me. The first one, back 7.5 years or so ago, I decided at the age of 63 that I would embark on a new career as a songwriter. And I knew nothing about the music industry, but I wanted to pursue it because it was a desire of my heart. I'd wanted to do it pretty much all my life. So I embarked on that journey and I learned everything that I could. I mean, my learning curve was exponential. It was like, I didn't know anything about social media. I learned about that. I learned how to record my songs track by track. I'd never done that before. Yeah, and then I made this CD and I thought, well, how the heck do I get this out to people? No one's going to sing my songs. So I had to then go to open mics and do it myself. And I sucked because I was so nervous. I'd never done this in my life. Here I am at 63, getting up on stage, just me and my ukulele at the time. It was another year before I got my guitar out. So that was, I really wanted to get my songs out there because I really felt like I had something to say in songs, you know, and I'd always written words, but now I was putting them to music, and I had a passion to pursue it. And I thought, oh, you know, later on in life I might have a passive income if somebody makes one of my songs a hit. But I'd be at least doing what I love doing. So I pursued this and I gradually got better. And this ended up opening up new doors for me because I met a coach and I started realizing that I had unfinished business from years before when I had my business in Sydney for 20 years. And I decided I was going to embark on that as well and finish what I started way back then. So there was another challenge. So I was writing songs and I was building my wellness business online with seminars and things like that, putting this whole concept together. And my inspirational songs were now going to reinforce some of the messages in my songs. And the house I was living in got, well, I was told I had to get out because I was only renting and they were going to sell it. So suddenly I was homeless. I had to stay with my mum. I had, and that was only for a little while because that was just too hard. And then I stayed with a couple of different friends while trying to keep my business things alive. And And so that was really, really challenging. That was either going to make me or break me. I was either going to do this thing that I'd started, or I was just going to go and get a job and work for someone else. And I went, no way. So that was probably the hardest period of my life, because it would have been easy to chuck it in. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but I persevered, and I loved what I did. I had a passion. It came from deep within me. And then I had this vision. I developed this vision of what I wanted for not just my future, but for a big picture future. And I want to make a difference and leave a legacy, not for myself, but to leave a better place, because there's a lot of things need fixing with our health system.
Good. Well done. Thank you, Kristine. Yeah. The biggest toughest challenge I had is when I first came online. There was two of them, and I'm going to show my ignorance here. The first one was I didn't need any help. I can do this stuff. This is easy, right? I mean, I don't need a coach. Who these? I mean, I had a football coach. That's it. But I mean, what else? That was a huge mistake, and that took me years to get over that, to be quite frank with you. But the second biggest challenge I had, and I started online, by the way, many, many years ago. I'm talking about 2000 and I'm not sure now, 2007, I think. But it was a long time ago. And in those days there, I was a sucker for a thing called shiny object syndrome. I would buy everything that was new. I bought everything, right? And I never even opened most of them, to be quite frank with you. But I kept buying them. I was just a complete sucker for these guys who were putting out this stuff, right? And I bought and bought and bought and bought. Until finally one day, my dearly beloved, before she passed away, she said to me, Peter, will you stop this rubbish? Stop shopping around. You're spending all this money. But why don't you just focus on doing one thing at a time? Because you can't do any more than one thing at a time, because you're a man. Men can't do any more than one thing at a time. And she was right. So I stopped shopping around and I focused on what I thought I could do best. And that's what I decided I wanted. Okay, I'm going to be a coach. And that's it. That got me through that challenge. But you know what? It took me years. And I made so many mistakes in the process of doing it. And I spent a lot of money on things I should never have bought in the first place. Yeah, that's my little story. All right. Anita, would you like to share what your biggest challenge has been and how you overcame it?
You know, learning to live with chronic pain every day is a challenge, you know, that I fight. You know, it's a mental challenge, you know, whether I give up or whether I get back into working, and you know, how I focus my mind and try to stay focused and get my mind off of the pain that I'm in.
So you live with it every day?
Yeah. I'm thinking of trying a CS, because every medical doctor, they're just kind of like, well, they'll put me under every 3 weeks with anesthesia. But I had to stop that because I didn't have a family member. But my sister's she lives 6 hours away, and she's like, I'll be there every 3 weeks if it makes your life better. But I'm like, that's way too much for you to do. And, you know, she was just like, she didn't care. She was like, she would be here. But, yeah, I have chronic pain from my head down to my toes. The nerves all affected in my head, occipital, trigeminal, and I had Chiari malformation and brain surgery back in 2023. And I had Guillain-Barré syndrome, and I live with the residual effects of the inflammation in my body. So it's it's a challenge every day. And some days I can walk and other days I can't. But, you know, I would rather be making somebody else's life positive, and I think about my daughters and, you know, my why for them is not to give up.
Wow, Anita. My heart goes out to you. Why don't you contact Kristine? Maybe she could talk to you about some things as well. This is outside my area of expertise. All I'm saying is feel for you.
Please do. Please, let's talk.
I'll leave you
Anita.
two guys to each other. Yeah. Okay. Well done. John Allen, you've been conspicuously extremely very quiet.
Been listening and learning from all these great people that are here. And there is a tremendous amount of knowledge that's shared by everybody here. And thank you for that. You know, one of the biggest challenges I had was learning how to fall in love with my prospect's problem, not my solution or program. You know, we were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth. For years, I think I had 3 mouths and no ears because I did more talking than I did listening. So once you learn to listen, I mean, really listen to what your prospects are telling you, and not just the verbal, but also the nonverbal clues they give off, that makes you far stronger. And be like a doctor. By being like a doctor, I mean, go in there and totally diagnose what the problem is before they pull out that little prescription pad. You know, whether they've heard the same complaint 1,000 times before, they dig deep to find out what caused it, what were you doing at that time, and all the rest of it, right? This is what we need to do with our prospects. We need to dig deep to find out what their real problem is, because we live in a very untrusting world. Peter and I and a few others tell people trust is the new currency, because they don't have to know you and like you, but they do have to trust you in order to do business. So the whole concept is learn how to create trust, because again, when you don't have trust, this is where you hear, I'll think about it or I'll call you. And we all know in today's world that when you're being ghosted, that part's over. So when you learn to listen and find out what their real problem is, and once you know their real problem, can you solve it? Because if you can't solve it, don't just throw some crap at the person and say, yeah, we can do this for you. No, you have to be able to legitimately help that person. When you can legitimately help them, and that's providing they want to solve their problem once and for all, because we know there's a lot of people out there that they want to hang on to their problem because I could get lots of sympathy. So you want to deal with people that want to solve that problem once and for all. Then and only then talk about your solution. Thanks, Peter. And thank you again to everybody for all the great information you've shared today.
See, that's right, John. Quite often people, they love having a problem, don't they? Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's become part of their life. But it's interesting because, I mean, when you mentioned you're talking about trust, then you go back to what Daniel was talking about in terms of loyalty and consistency. You put those 3 things together, from a business perspective, it makes it pretty compelling. There's no doubt about that. Anyway, before we wrap up, because we've got a few minutes left, over to you. Any other thoughts?
I got one. So
Mary.
not only are they in love with their problem, but they want you to fix their problem for them. They don't want to actually put the work in to help fix the problem.
Yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more.
And when it doesn't work the way they want it to, they blame you, not them.
Correct. We all want the easy button thanks to technology.
Yeah.
In other words, they don't accept responsibility. Is that right?
That's it. Well, sort of. It's a half-ass responsibility. No, it's my baby, but you need to help me, and it's your fault because you didn't help me hard enough. You didn't do it enough. Didn't explain it to me in a way that I understand it.
This is exactly the same issue with wellness, Peter. And,
Very good.
and
Which is
Mary.
why I speak more than I coach.
Well said. Well said. Any other thoughts before we wrap it up? We've got a few minutes left.
The month of March is International Mental Disability Month. March 17th through the 23rd is Neurodiversity Week.
Can you put that in the chat?
What
Yeah.
do they mean by neurodiversity?
Neuro-
Autism?
Neurodiversity is any mental health issue that affects your way of life. This is autism, ADD, TBI, PTSD. If it's an acronym and it involves your brain, it's in that category. And they created this in a way so that people would understand that everybody is a little neurodiverse. We all have something from OCD to control issues. And it's more to be more inclusive and more accepting. You know, we're trying to change the narrative from being normal to accepting and meeting in the middle.
Out of curiosity, what's normal?
I was just going to say along those lines.
If
Everybody's
you are
unique.
normal, it's normal. If you're like everybody else, that's okay. But at the minute you get a label, you're taught and told, especially in the US, the world, you guys over there, it's a lot different. You're more accepting. In the US, it's all about taking children from a very young age and teaching them to bury their issues, but be like everybody else, to sit at the table, to eat properly, to do this, to do that, what to say, how to say it, when to say it. It's to go against every instinct that your brain tells you.
Same thing as if you look different, walk different, talk different, then you stand out in a crowd. Mary, you and I should talk.
I guess
I
that's
agree.
why I was never
Thinking the same
normal.
thing,
My dad
Glenda.
told me if I was the first, I'd have been the last because I didn't do the things the way they wanted me to.
Hello.
That's it.
Yep.
My
Glenda,
mother told
make
me.
sure you and Mary get on a call together. Please do that, okay?
You know,
But-
love, here's the biggest thing. Love who you are, respect others for who they are, but most importantly, just fall in love with yourself first. And once you can accept yourself for who you are, it's easier to accept others.
Well said. Well said, Glenda. I take that right on board, by the way. Daniel, you've got
Daniel's-
your hand up again.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for sharing. It's such a pleasure, to listen to everyone. I just like to reflect on a few points. And, John, and what you said is about really listening to people. And actually, it's not natural. You said yourself, first it was like having three months and no ears. And then basically, the more we do that, and I was in sales. I was the same, John, you know what? And I learned, but now it's really about really listening with a genuine will to understand people. And then, and afterwards, we'll see, can we help or not? We don't know, but at least we are aware. And afterwards, it's about being impeccable with our words. We help only, if we can. And going back to what you said, Mary, yes, people want us to help them, fix their problems. But like, for instance, as coaches, and you said they want us to do the work for them. This is the thing we cannot do. We can help them. We are like sounding boards. We reflect back to them. But if people are not ready to do the work, there's nothing we can do, because you see, we are not even there to advise. We are there to guide, to accompany, really to help, to motivate, to uplift people, to help them going in the right way. But afterwards, they need to do the work, and it's, of course, we can be accountability buddies. We can remind people of what their goals are, what they said they wanted to do. But, it's really up to them to do the work. So thank you.
Very true, Daniel. Very true. Any other final thoughts before we go? Going once?
Hang on here. I'd just like to recommend that Tina and Glenda get together, because I think that would be a great, one of your great calls, Glenda. Tina's got a lot of really good information to share. So I think you two could get along great. And again, with Mary, make a hell of a combination.
We beat you to it.
There you go.
And I'd also recommend, Glenda, that you connect with Ingeborg, okay? She would be a great guest on your program, but not today because she can't talk.
She's a real dynamic lady to talk to.
He is. So, all right.
And just a reminder to everybody to save your chat so you have everybody's connections here.
Yeah. And Anita, I hope you can get through this pain that you're in. Goodness gracious me. It must be a huge challenge for you. I just want to say thank you for making the effort to be here, because you're obviously in pain right now. So God bless you. Take care. All right. All righty. Thank you, everybody. All the very best. Once again, thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time. Well, I'll say that. See you same time next week. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.